Hey everyone, Diavolo here, and welcome back to my review for chapter 234 of Tokyo Revengers. If you guys are new around here and want to keep up to date with the latest Tokyo Revengers reviews and just other anime content in general, then make sure you hit that subscribe button and also be sure to leave a like on the video, as it really helps out with the algorithm and pushes my stuff to a bunch of new amazing people. But anyway, enough of that, let's get into this chapter, because, well, I'm not gonna lie, this chapter's actually pretty damn good. We do instantaneously almost leave away from the fight, as it actually starts off in some kind of a flashback for Takemichi, as he remembers himself being completely pounded down on by Mikey. And it starts off by telling us that Mikey was punching Takemichi with full killing intentions, which is, you know, like something that we never thought we would actually see Mikey do towards Takemichi from the very beginning of the entire story. You know, this is something that he's probably only ever done towards Kazutora, which is pretty scary if you think about it. But Takemichi actually wakes up in a hospital bed, completely bandaged and strapped up from almost like head to toe, which is insane. He even looks skinnier than he did beforehand. So I'm wondering how like Mikey's managed to beat literally the weight off Takemichi here. And Takemichi, confused, realizes that Coco is actually next to him in the bed there, and Coco asks him, he's like, you're awake now? And he says to Takemichi that he's been unconscious for 3 entire days, which is, I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of mind-boggling for the fact that Takemichi's literally kind of been in a coma for the last 3 days now, unable to do anything because of the fact that he's just been beaten up that badly. Like how was he even able to get out of the situation? And literally, you know, like Takemichi was thinking that exact same thing as well as pretty much everyone else at the point as they were reading through this chapter. He's like, oh yeah, I was being beaten up by Mikey-kun. So why, or like, how am I still alive? And Coco replies to him and he's like, Senju saved you. She stepped in front of Mikey and like literally like bowed down in front of him and told him like that's enough, and decided to like disband Toman so that Takemichi would survive, as this is like the only way to ensure Takemichi's survival, as if Mikey comes out as the complete and utter winner of this conflict, or at least that's kind of how it seemed here from this chapter, or like how I kind of perceived it exactly. And because of like this, because of Senju bowing down here and deciding to like disband Toman and admitting like her defeat to Mikey, the battle of the 3 deities, the infamous 3-sided battle that took 2 lives, so obviously referring to sadly Draken, which I'm pretty sure has passed away, and Tarano, who you can see beaten to a pulp there, like on the concrete, lying down just to the side of like everyone else. And the Kanto Manji gang has actually taken over the Rokuhara Tanda here, which is like the point in the story where Mikey almost turns Kanto into Bon 10, if that makes sense. It's almost turning into that future timeline that we have seen before, except somehow this future timeline won't have Draken in it. It's going to be slightly similar to the future that Takemichi was in, and this gets also brought up again later in the chapter by, you know, no one else than Chifuyu, but we'll get to that in a second. As the battle concluded with Brahman's dissolvement, the Kanto Manji gang reigns as the top in the nation. So I'm wondering if that's referring to like literally the fact that they are the strongest gang in all of Japan. There is no one else that like can even stand up to them or try and defeat them in the entire country. Because I've always wondered, is there anything going on outside of Tokyo, you know, like, or all these other like larger districts? I was thinking possibly Takemichi could have got some help from someone else outside of like Japan, because there needs to be someone who's built up in some kind of way to defeat Mikey, and I just don't see any way Takemichi's actually like kind of able to do that at the moment, like at least. And after explaining this, Coco like decides to leave, and he says to Takemichi, he's like, be sure to grasp the aftermath of the battle. And Takemichi thinks, he's like, Senju disbanded Brahman to literally save him, and Mikey was literally about to kill him. He's not the exact same Mikey that he used to know. He's completely and utterly changed now, at least this is what like Takemichi is thinking. And he even says to himself, he's like, what the hell am I actually doing? You know, like, how am I going to pretty much get out of this mess that he's got himself into? Because how is he going to be able to even shake Mikey's hand to return to the future at the moment, to see what the future could be like, if he's not even able to talk to Mikey, if Mikey's just instantaneously gonna turn to like beating up Takemichi every time he sees him, so that like Takemichi can't get his like talk no jutsu off on Mikey per se. And Takemichi, turning his head to the other side of the bed, realizes that Chifuyu has actually been there. And Chifuyu says to Takemichi, he's like, I went to Draken's funeral. Everything that has happened, it's hard to take in. It's got me pondering. Takemichi, what is literally like wrong with you? Because like he remembers Takemichi telling him that Draken and everyone was alive in the future and everyone had a good future. So why is he gone now? Why has he come back when things were so happy, or like supposedly so happy in the future? And then Chifuyu literally screams out, it's your fault that Draken is ... and doesn't finish his sentence, but it's obvious, you know, like what he was going to finish and say, dead, because it's pretty much affirmed now the fact that Draken is dead. Chifuyu has been to his funeral and everything, so I think that 100% confirms the fact that there is no coming back from this point. Sadly, that has probably been the hardest death for anyone, I think, to get over in the entire story so far, or at least since I've been a part of the community. People up to this point have been saying like, nah man, I think he might still be alive. I think there might be some kind of possibility of him being alive, but no, I think after this it's pretty much certain that Draken has passed away. There's been a funeral for him, literally. And Chifuyu like says to Takemichi, like, I'm sorry Takemichi, but Takemichi replies to him, he's like, it's not your fault, it's all my fault. And then he asks Chifuyu to actually like leave him alone in the room. And as like Chifuyu walks off, he says something that's pretty you know, like heartfelt or like heartwarming. He's like, you better heal up soon so that I can beat you up with all my heart when you finally do. And then like as Chifuyu leaves the room, you notice like Hina's actually in the hallway kind of looking in on Takemichi holding some flowers, which I think's extremely lovely. We haven't seen Hina in so long, to the point that everyone started to ship Takemichi and Senju, but more or less I would like the idea of Senju and Mikey actually being together more than anything, as I think she could be some kind of savior to his like dark impulses in a way, if she's like that light urge maybe. I don't know, just a thought. As you know, like, the entire story actually started with Takemichi thinking about a girl, and that saved him from death, made him like kind of time travel back to save her. So I'm wondering if the same thing could slightly happen for Mikey. Probably not in any kind of way. It's a very long stretch, but yeah, continuing on. So after like Chifuyu and Hina talk and Chifuyu heads off home, Hina notices Takemichi like lying on the bed, and he's like thinking to himself, Chifuyu, I'm sorry. I'll never get anyone ever involved ever again. From now on, this will be a battle of my own, which is some pretty strong words coming from Takemichi, when I'm not actually sure how Takemichi's even going to defeat Mikey by himself. Is he going to have some kind of like training arc to defeat Mikey here? Because how is he going to, you know, like actually do that? How is he going to beat the invincible Mikey, who has literally taken down all of these people who have been set up to show his like complete and utter strength? And we know that Takemichi, all he is a punching bag. It's proven for the fact that he's somehow survived Mikey's barrage, only for the fact that Senju laid down her life. So is Takemichi also going to throw away the possibility of life that Senju's given him by trying to save Mikey again? I don't know, it's just another thought. Obviously he is, because he's going to try and save Mikey no matter what here, but he doesn't want to involve anyone else. It's really, really confusing at this point, and I'm finding it really hard to actually know where it's going to go from this point. I want Kazutora to be involved, but I don't know if Takemichi's going to get anyone else to help him out in the story now. I think he may actually try and do this all by himself, which is surprising. I don't know how he's going to end up doing this, but we're going to have faith in Ken Waikui to, you know, perform God's work with the story, and I'm sure he probably will, as he's done an absolutely amazing job so far. But yeah, the chapter leaves us with a tragic decision, but his gaze proves a strong determination. So obviously they're talking about Takemichi in the bed and the fact that he's actually gonna try and bring down Mikey somehow. I don't know how far his determination is going to get him right now. He's probably broken his arm for the fact that Mikey has snapped it in the last chapter, and it's going to take him months to even heal from this point. So are we going to get a time skip from this stage? Like a 6 month to a year maybe time skip, where Takemichi tries to train up enough so that he can defeat Mikey, possibly with the help of like Akashi, Wakasa, and maybe even Takemichi. He wants to bring down Mikey. I don't know if they're going to be involved in the story anymore. Same with like the other few Brahmin ones. Are they going to sneak around and be this like mysterious sneaky force like they were first introduced as that could be something that could definitely happen. But I think Wakasa and Benkei are going to help Takemichi. I've just got a feeling that they are, as I think they're heavily aligned to Shinichiro and how his goals would have been in life, and they probably hate the fact that Mikey has turned out like this. So I feel like Wakasa and Benkei are going to have some kind of part to play in this arc here, or this final part of the arc here. At least I think it may be the final part of the arc that we're boiling down to now. Now that the first major conflict has ended, we're probably going to have like maybe another massive conflict, and then it finally ends from there, or at least that's kind of how or what I'm suspecting. If you guys have any thoughts, be sure to chuck them down in the comment section below as per usual. And if you guys are new around here and want to keep up to date with the latest Tokyo Revengers chapters and just other anime content in general, then make sure you hit that subscribe button, and also be sure to leave a like on the video, as it really helps out with the algorithm and pushes my stuff to a bunch of new amazing people. But anyway, enough of that. For now, it's been your professional degenerate, Diavolo, and I'll see you all in a bit. Bye.